We're continuing our conversation about ESOP, Employee Stock Ownership Plans, with David Beckum, who is the president of Augusta Industrial. And over the last few times, we've really talked about the process of how to integrate employees into becoming owners and the steps that it take, and some good books to read and such. But as a business leader and a business owner, we are often always thinking about, it's almost like a parent. You're thinking about your kids all the time. You're thinking about your employees, but what are you
doing for yourself?
Yeah. What do you do for yourself as the leader?
You spend all this time building your team, and that's totally necessary. Don't lose sight of the fact that you're running the organization and you need to be improving as well.
Yeah, and occasionally David gets to go away to interesting places, including the Pacific Northwest. You've went?
Yeah, we just attended the NCEO, that's the National Center for Employee Ownership, their annual conference for about 5 days, and that was an awesome trip.
Did you go see that? Was it like a fish market that they had?
I did. I have some videos throwing the
You
fish.
do?
Yeah. So that was great.
Well, it was work, but there was some fun, which is good.
It's usually fun wherever I go.
Well, you're the life of the party, David. I mean, let's, who's kidding who here? And at these trade shows, like you were there, were they more like-minded people like yourself, or were there some customers? And are there some trade shows where your customers are there? Yeah,
there's a lot of trade shows. So there's a lot of trade shows where your customers are. There was at the Employee Ownership Conference, there was 1,300 people there representing companies from all over the country.
Wow.
And so some of them were in businesses that we service, or they were service providers to us.
Nice.
Yep. But, how do you stay on top of your industry? Don't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've always believed in is being at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant joining organizations and serving on boards. Early on in my career, I joined the Augusta chapter of the American Society of Safety Engineers, which is now American Society of Safety Professionals.
Mm-hmm.
But I joined as a member, got involved, worked my way up through the ladder and the board, and was eventually the president of the Augusta chapter. And that was great because that connected me to a lot of the plants that we were involved in, and I was able to spread our message on how we approach safety and how core that is to our business. I'm now on a national board for an organization called the Water Jet Technology Association that writes the rules and regulations for the high-pressure water and vacuum industry. So,
do you come back and share best practices with your team?
Absolutely. And I was part of the committee last year that wrote the book, The Best Practices.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. So
and, so serve on boards, go to trade shows, and not just trade shows for what you're doing. Go where your customers are.
Right.
Find out what trade shows they're going to.
Wow.
And learn what they want to know.
Yeah, that's really good. That's an empathetic way of doing business, which a lot of times it's all about us, but it's really not, because they're they're paying the freight.
Right. We can't do it without them.
Yeah.
And we like them to think they can't do it without us.
Exactly. And for those who are watching that maybe can't strive to go to the national level, what could they do maybe on a local level to grow their leadership skills?
Well, it seems these days there's a lot of peer groups out there. Whatever level you're in, I'm in a group called Vistage, which is a CEO roundtable group, and it's like having our own private advisory board. I'm in with about 12 to 15 other local CEOs, and we get together once a month and talk about, all of our businesses are different, but they all follow the same business rules. And so sometimes you just need an outside voice to bring some reason to you.
And that's confidential, right?
It's very confidential.
Yeah.
But Vistage isn't the only one.
Sure.
There's a CEO group through Georgia Tech that's in Augusta.
Yeah.
There's
TAB, the alternative board.
There's TAB. There's other groups for young professionals.
Yeah. There's even I think a Christian business, C4, if I'm not mistaken, is the name of that.
So.
And they just get together, and usually it's a half day to a full day a month commitment. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, you have to be committed.
Yeah.
You need to bring value to the group.
Yeah, put the phone down and...
It's hard for us.
Well, I bet it is, but it's the old adage, if you work on your business instead of always in your business, that you really can see much clearer.
That's absolutely true.
And so that's kind of what you mentioned about the advisory boards, but just what about getting out there and pressing the flesh and shaking hands and handing business cards?
Yeah, sometimes just building a good network. You find people that are going after the same goals you are. You build a good network, but don't go in it just to get leads. Go in it to help somebody. If you help somebody first, it's going to come back to you.
It's funny you say that because one of the biggest networking group around is BNI.
BNI.
And their slogan is, do you remember?
I'm not in BNI.
Givers gain, which is what you're saying,
That's
actually.
exactly right. I'm in a group. I helped start the chapter here in Augusta. It's called the Industrial Network Group.
Nice.
It's a group for industrial sales professionals to share leads and also talk about what your needs are. Hey, can anybody help me get here or there? And we meet monthly, and it's all non-competitive businesses.
Right.
But we've developed a great network of people that when they're out in the field doing sales calls, somebody might ask, hey, can you do this? I can't, but I know a guy. Or I got a guy.
Right.
And then we help each other out.
And vice versa, it will come back around.
It'll come back around.
Yeah, someone will need your services.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic. It is all about relationships.
And then you have your events as well.
Yeah, once a month we do, we do Augusta Business Daily towards the end of the month. And I'll tell you what's so interesting about it is I reconnect with 4 or 5 people that I hadn't seen in a year or two. And I get updated on what they're doing. They get updated on what I'm doing. And we might go for coffee or something. And I would have never.
That's right.
That's right.
See what I did there? I just gave it back.
You did. Giver's gain. He's such a giver. David, thank you so much. This is great information for leadership just to help us all get to the next level. And please go to AugustaIndustrial.com. There's a lot of really good resources and information there. And David, thank you so much for all you do for the community and providing your leadership. You're more than welcome.